Here's my budget presentation for operations, maintenance, and transportation. I started with staffing here. Our staffing is not changing once again, but to spell it out here, we have 79 people on what I consider our team, and 40 of those are transportation contract with Orange County Transport, and 19 people in operations and 18 folks in transportation. And so I've been, one of the big problems we've had, or that I anticipate, and it's been a nationwide thing, is how to deal with such a large staff and maintaining such a large staff during a nationwide labor shortage, and how to attract new folks and fill positions when they open. So what we've been doing to address that and try to stay ahead of it is I work very closely with Dana Lopez, who does a wonderful job helping me with recruiting. We have begging Jeremy and Jill, and thank you to the board for increasing the sub-rate of pay for cleaners and bus drivers. Really is going to help us attract much more highly qualified people and more people to choose from. And these subs are really a nice testing or proving grounds for the people when they come working as subs. We can see how they do and how they work, and to fill in positions as they open. Retention of existing staff, I think, is the most important in a tight labor market. And to do that, I think it's important to maintain a culture of respect, a positive work environment, and all have a common mission, a greater purpose, so to speak. I'm going to start with transportation. And we have had a few nice additions this year, replacements for folks that retired. And Jamie Viveros is the new dispatcher for Orange County Transit. And my hats are off to Orange County. This is the best transportation year we've had by far. I know we've had difficulties in the past. I'm very pleased at this point that we chose to renew their contract, and they're doing a fantastic job. And I owe a lot of that to Jamie, who is the new leader in that Orange County department. Sarah Pellegrino is Michael Koenig's right-hand person down there, and has also done a fantastic job stepping in to Lori Kara's role. And of course, Jeanette Rain, who's a member of our community, has been an addition, very energetic addition to our bus driving staff. So when you get done with the blocking and tackling of getting students to and from school in a safe way and efficiently and on time, and once you get all that done, you can do the good stuff. You can really see the culture of the bus drivers improve and change and bring a lot of joy and warmth to the students. This is Joe Torres. You probably don't recognize him because he's been in a Santa suit for about a month. His bus is all decorated, and those are his kids having fun with him. And I just want to say a great job and thank you to everybody in our transportation department. They've done a great job this year. Facilities. This is one of the only slides I left in from the last time, was fiscal sustainability as we thrive. And some bullet points here. What I try to instill and work with is leveraging district resources for maximum effect on student experience, to alleviate pressure on academic programs, and create opportunities for teachers. Important tools for fiscal sustainability are utilizing the skill sets of the existing staff, insourcing work, collaborating, and creating efficiencies. So just a quick couple slides about what we've done recently since last I spoke to you folks. After the big project was completed with the Wellness Center, the elementary school stuff, and the middle school, our grounds were scarred, so they're beat up. So rather than have the contractor do the work in revamping it and landscaping, we did that ourselves. We took the opportunity to redo the courtyard and to complete the wellness trail. So here's our guys digging the trees. A local landscape architect I want to thank. He engaged us very early on in the project, even in the planning. I wanted to know what we were going to do after the buildings were put up, especially that wellness center, because it's not the prettiest building in the world. He wanted to make sure it was properly disguised with trees as we go down the road. And he is an expert. He does a lot of work in the city and parks and that. He recommended what types of trees we should get, where to get them, and where to site them, where to put them in the ground, and set us up with Hardscrabble Nursery to give us a significant discount on purchasing the trees. So thanks to George. And then, of course, we did all the work ourselves with our 3 grounds guys and a few summer helpers, and which gave us a significant impact on our budget, a significant savings, rather than us doing it outside. There's a picture. You can see that's what it looked like this morning, but it'll be prettier in the spring. I didn't take a picture when we were finished in the spring. I apologize. But see those trees that we planted, those pine trees are going to be similar to the ones you see on the far right that were planted 22 years ago. So they'll be 30 feet tall when they all grow up and fill in. So it'll cover a lot of those harsh big lines on that wellness center. Now the high school courtyard, since I started here 4 years ago, I was looking for pictures on my camera. I saw that I took a picture of the courtyard in May of 2019, looking for ideas of how to improve it, because I always thought this was an underutilized part of the school. Students wouldn't use it, even though we had some picnic tables out there. And I thought mostly it was because the grass was wet and muddy, and kids didn't want to be out there at 10 o'clock in the morning when there's dew in the grass and all that. So I designed a new courtyard. So this is what it looks like now. And we had our contractors do that pea stone in there and make this shape to it. And it's actually, we moved the Aspire statue down there as a focal point to the big circle on the end. And it's been a really big success. The students use it. We have 74 acres here, and about 73 of them are used for athletics and such. And I thought it would be nice to have a place for students to do more, contemplative, reading and studying and gathering and things that aren't necessarily sports related. Here's another nice picture. It was warm. We also we were able to complete the wellness trail. It was always my intent to use that the construction road that goes up alongside of the wellness center to complete the circle of the wellness trail that is a mile-long trail that goes along the perimeter of our property. And it's really been used quite a bit, but now that we have the trail completed, it doesn't have to go through a construction site. It's being used even more. And these are our guys built that bridge and did this final path work. And thanks to the town once again, they give us free mulch. Coming soon. I didn't know where to put this, but I wasn't able to finish in the fall. We are building a garden out at the end of that home run fence out near the wellness center there, next to the wellness trail. When we took out the courtyard at the middle school to do, that construction over there, there was a garden in that courtyard that was really used quite a bit by the middle school staff and for students to learn about gardening and nature and all that. So we have the materials already and the plan. The guys, as soon as the ground thaws in the spring, we're going to build a nice garden for the campus. Another thing we finished this past summer was the middle school bathrooms, half of them. The south end of the building, upstairs and downstairs, we were able to renovate the bathrooms. I thought these you can really see in the before shot here why I was so passionate about getting these things done, because they looked a little better when I went here back in the 70s, but they never were great. And those little tiles, they were falling off. So they look great. So
I must admit, that bathroom looks even more terrible on like a 20-foot screen.
I know.
That is ugly.
Youch. So, new bathrooms, and the other set, the rest of the bathrooms in the building will be done to match this coming summer. That'll be later in the presentation. At the elementary school, this is Ms. Parmalee's old classroom out here, and my son learned in this building. It hadn't been used in about 8 years, and it didn't have air conditioning or heat. The roof was in bad shape, so Dr. Luff asked me to see what I could do to get it ready to be used again, whether it's for a classroom or some other use, but to bring it back to life. A lot of the work, we're saving tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing a lot of the work ourselves here. This past summer we did hire out to put a roof on, but on the inside we've been working to put new ceilings and lights in the ceiling. I actually used leftover lights from the middle school project, but they look great. We redid the floors. We put new unit ventilators for both heating and air conditioning in there. We did that in-house as well. New bathroom fixtures, new bathroom sheetrock, and new technology. Thank you, Michael and Matt Brady. We ran conduit out there and have it all ready to go for technology there. And the interior, we're almost done with patching. We're ready. We're going to paint the interior, and this summer my team is going to do the outside and paint that outside this summer. The things we can't do are windows and doors. We're looking at getting quotes from window and door contractors to hopefully replace those windows and doors this summer. A little word about collaboration. I put that as one of my tools that we use here. Some neat little project. The Go Green Club, Georgia Sommer took that over and wants to do more with it. And that's one of my passions, is that the sustainability stuff. So she and their students walked around the wellness trail and looked for ideas of what they could do. And we came up with bird houses and butterfly houses to put in that field section of the trail. And the first effort, we kind of looked at Home Depot bird houses, and they were little tiny, really not great. So I talked with Mr. Danko and asked if his students in the high school in the STEM room could make birdhouses. And so he had his students design and make these birdhouses, and they're in the process of designing and making some butterfly houses as well. I delivered those over to Mrs. Sommer today. And she's thrilled. She's going to have her students have researched what colors attract local birds, and they're going to. She bought the paint. She's going to start having them start painting them this Thursday, and then once they're painted, and the bird and the butterfly houses as well, we're going to have our grounds crew install them out in that field on poles, away from the bears. So that's a section of the trail that goes through that field. We'll put them out in the high grass out there, and hopefully we'll attract some birds that the kids can check out. These are capital projects that are underway, and by that I mean we're budgeting for them. So in the elementary school, outdoor learning spaces, we're looking at KG&D. We're looking at the end of the first grade wing. There's some nice areas out there. Dr. Luft had asked me to explore some opportunities for outside learning, based on the pandemic, and brought a lot of wanted to bring more outside opportunities, and I think it's good for the kids too. So we have KG&D working on some concepts there. We're in that conceptual stage. The modular building upgrades that I just talked about, water improvements, for filtration system at the elementary school, and an alarm system upgrade. We have to upgrade the alarm system. It's on copper right now, and we need to change it out. So I'm working with a wonderful tech team on getting quotes on getting that done. Transportation building, when we're redoing the modular building outside, one of the uses it had was file storage. We think it would be a better classroom than a file storage room, and we have a lack of storage district-wide, as all schools do. So I've been searching for a place to put our files. It needs to be secured, and we have KG&D working on a cage to go on the mezzanine in the transportation building up there, and we think we can fit all of the files that need to be secured, and most of all of the files up there out of the way. It's not being used for much right now. The middle school bathrooms I talked about, the north end of the building will have the bathrooms just like I showed a picture of. High school, we're doing some roof repair here, and phase one of our roof repair, the most immediate needs. Walter from KG&D and a roof consultant and I spent about 3 hours walking around on the roof, and these are their suggestions. Didn't want to surprise you guys with a big number, 3, 4, 5 years from now when things started to get bad. We have a few leaks, but nothing's critical, but things are getting closer. It's 22 years old. So, and the Courtyard learning wall to finish off that Courtyard with a nice space to have the students for teaching opportunities and presentation opportunities out there, and some HVAC upgrades at school. Health and safety upgrades, water quality. We have added bottle filling stations to all 3 schools. During the pandemic, we had to shut down water fountains, and they required us to have one water bottle opportunity for every 100 students, and this created operational headaches and expense, refilling and cups everywhere. It was driving me crazy. So we have switched out those bottles, those old water cooler bottles to bottle filling stations that are built in. We did that internally with our in-house plumber, and our guys did the electricity on that. Air filtration, we now have MERV 13 filters standardized throughout the district in every HVAC unit we have. Circulation, we maximize the outside air that we intake into our system. We have a very sophisticated system We upgraded our BMS as part of the EPC. I'm really into education now. I'm using these acronyms. It's great. Building Management System and Energy Performance Contract. So we upgraded our building management system. So we really have very detailed, we have a lot of control over how we operate the system, which really came in handy during the pandemic, and we were able to really to crank open the outside air when possible. As much as we can get in to keep the air exchanges happening as rapidly as possible, to keep the air fresh. And more circulation stuff, which became the main thing I was worried about in the pandemic after we realized there was aerosol transmission, was more ventilation. So we encourage teachers and bus drivers, when it's appropriate and whether weather allows, to open their windows and crack them or open them all the way when it's really nice out. And the cleaning and disinfecting protocols are continued with our homemade disinfectant. We're still using that stuff. So I have some pictures of the thing that gets me up in the morning is seeing the students use the great facilities that we're maintaining and building here. So here's some pictures of that. Here's the students in the Wellness Center. It's not hard in the nice weather to find teachers teaching outside. It's easy to find pictures of that. This is the courtyard, and that's the trail to the entrance to the wellness trail there. I don't know what Amy Lee was doing teaching these students, but they were having fun and they were learning, I think.
Do you want me to give a description of exactly what's going on in this picture?
Could you? I have no idea.
My
I just took
guess
a
is
shot and left.
Talking about vectors and equilibrium.
Okay.
Each of those students represents their own vector, and if they all pull at the same force,
I wasn't a physics guy. I had no idea what she
they're
was doing.
creating equilibrium between them. I'll check with Amy, but I'm guessing that's what was going on in that picture.
Okay.
It makes for a good picture, Dave.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just like, okay, that's a great picture. So, a football team practicing in there, working on their plays. Color Wars is in this. I don't know if you guys saw the Wellness Center when we were able to put the big Putnam Valley sticker on the wall there. I think it looks good. And the kids had a blast in there during Color Wars. Engaging, we use the technology in there to, this is a back to school night, able to keep people distanced, and Mr. Elsasser was able to do a nice little presentation in there. He sent me that picture. Exercising, again, every day when it's nice, every decent day, you'll see lots of people out there on the trail. It's walking around and just taking a loop. Competing, we were able to, now that we have the trail going around the entire campus here, it's exactly a mile, which is perfect for a modified track meet. I talked to Mr. Scampoli. He is thrilled. He's the coach of this modified cross-country team, and all of the coaches in Section 1, they only just want to come here for meets because this is far and away the best facility for a cross-country meet. So that's fun. I think this picture on the right, I think that Pleasantville kid is getting lapped by her, I think. So he looks a little nervous. And beautiful days are on their way. I thought this was just a neat picture, especially on a cold night. Everybody wearing shorts and that. And anticipated expenses, we have some increases. Propane, although this isn't going to be as much as I thought at first, we were really filling that a lot. It's an auxiliary propane tank. We use a electric ERU to do the main heat, and we have a propane heating boiler when it gets too cold and it doesn't appear that, it appears that ERU is working really well, and the boiler is probably kicking on right now, but isn't kicking on as much as I thought it would.
Is that an energy recovery unit?
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, I'm really in education now, using these acronyms. Darn it. All right, yes, Energy Recovery Unit. PPE, no, I'm just kidding. Testing, mandates to test all kinds of stuff now. We're testing water for new things that cost money. PPE is just, I didn't even want to, it makes me sick as a sustainability guy, but we've gone through 15,000 surgical masks since the beginning of the pandemic, the disposable ones. So they cost us 8 cents each, which is nice. Yeah, the expense of the pandemic, we're maintaining an inventory of PPE, but mainly now, besides those surgical masks, it's for special education teachers and nurses to use their gloves, face shields and gowns, and N95 masks. And that. So decreases, we're realizing oil reduction from our geothermal in our and electricity. We're looking at the Con Ed is looking at our energy use to make sure that what they promised in that EPC is coming to fruition in the reduction in our electric use from about 3 million kilowatts a year to about 1.5. So we really should have cut our electric in half. We're basically paying about 7 cents. We've negotiated a nice low price on electricity. I don't know how long that's going to last, but we're a lot less vulnerable to volatility in electric and oil expenses now that we've done all that work. HVAC, that a good example, some examples I've already been through here of our savings from bringing Stony Point in, this Carrie to be an in-house HVAC plumber, that work in the outbuilding, the modular building. He installed all that heating HVAC out there. He installed all of the bottle filling stations, but that's not HVAC. But that's the next line. But our HVAC expense, we should see a significant reduction in that. And also plumbing, we used to hire plumbers to do a lot of work here. They don't come here anymore. And irrigation, we had worked on that every year, and we don't need to do that anymore either. Looking ahead, we're obviously always talking about the future and trying to look over the horizon to make sure that we keep improving our facility here and maintaining it. So we see some additional, besides what we're planning to do this summer, some additional high school roof repair. The high school and middle school parking lot, again, this is a conceptual stage. We don't know how much stuff is going to cost, but the middle school parking lot was not really addressed when they rebuilt this high school. It's not properly lighted. Pedestrian walkways don't really exist. I'm nervous. I'm out there every day at dismissal, diving in front of cars anyway, it makes me nervous out there. So a middle school parking lot resurface and redesign. The retaining wall at the high school, you can see it's crumbling a little bit. That's in the parking lot. We're going to need to replace that at one point. The 22-year-old, this brand new turf, fantastic athletic facility down there, is 22 years old. So the fencing, if you've looked at it closely, is beat up. The track needs to be resurfaced, and the brand new turf is now almost 8 years old. Wow. So sorry guys. Again, we're going to have to start looking at that. It'll last for 3 or 4 more years easy, and still be safe to play on and all that. But we want to start planning for that now. The Dugouts for baseball and softball, there's no roofs, so on them they're not great. So those should be replaced or built new ones. I talked about the turf replacement and the lighting out there. Dave Kantrowitz and I were on a call yesterday with a lighting person. Some of the lights are starting to fail, and they're not really available anymore. So they're old lights. When we did the lighting upgrade to the entire district to LEDs to save all that electricity, we didn't touch those, and some of them are going out now, and the ballast you can't get, and that. So we're looking at soon, sometime in the next 3-4 years, getting new LED lights for the lights on there. An additional lighted turf area is something we've been thinking about, and there's a lot of use. There's not a lot of flat space in Putnam Valley, period, to play on, and our fields, our grass fields take a lot of abuse, and it's hard to maintain them. It takes a lot of work to maintain them and keep them up to snuff. And something I just put in there because I've been starting to do some research about it and think about it, is looking at electric vehicles in the future and ways to charge them. Michael started with a quote. I'm going to finish with one. Into it too has gone the hope. This is about this school, building this school in Putnam Valley. Into it too has gone the hope that by giving our young people the greatest opportunities that this school presents, that Putnam Valley is making its greatest gift to civilization, since the human race climbs upward only through its children. That's from Israel Ben Schreiber at the dedication ceremony in September 16th, 1935. Wow. Questions?
I don't have a question so much as two comments, and first, Dave, is to your staff. I think we've all worked in places where people live by the motto, "That's not in my job description," and your people throw that out the window. It just seems amazing that there is just such ease with someone who's a cleaner is outside planting in the summer, and it's just whatever is needed. We can paint. Why are you going to bring somebody else in to do that? We take it for granted, but I think it's not. It's far more unique than we think it is. So I just want to commend, if anybody is listening, but please let them know. And my second comment, Dave, is to you. I need to ask your wife if your house is maintained as well as our schools, because I can't imagine you loving any building more than you do our 3 buildings. And I've run into you in shopping centers when you're having sleepless nights over a facility issue, over our building. So that's why they look as good as they do. Thank you to you and all your staff.
Thank you.
Well, and now our 3 buildings are actually like 6 or 7.
What's that?
Our 3 buildings are now actually like
Right.
6 or 7.
Because you have a little cabin now.
The new retreat house is what I just referred to it before the annex that
Joe wants to
Barbara
have a
was in.
retreat in your
Yeah,
old
retreat in
classroom,
your-
Barbara.
I didn't tell you how we're furnishing it, so it's still on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than maintenance. I mean, this is, and I talked about the technology, the creativity, and looking forward, and I think you are doing that also. And, listening to people and getting ideas and information, always looking around and saying, how can this be better? How can we improve it? That's a gift, so thank you.
My grandfather owned a bakery, and he used to say the eye eats first, so it was important that everything looked good. I guess you can say a student learns first by liking where they're learning it and feeling comfortable. So it is really, really important.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities between the 2 presentations tonight, and I think the same core function is really at the heart, and it's really about the people. I don't know if another group of individuals as talented and knowledgeable as Dave and his crew in the buildings, and really the sense of pride they take in their work. I think there's a mindset in many service industries where sort of the first answer is no, and that gives some room for negotiation. And I think what's evident here is really this mindset of let's figure out how to get to yes. And I come up with crazy ideas, and I put a lot on Dave's shoulders on a daily basis. But those crazy ideas are often met with, let's see how we could figure that out, or let's see how we can make that happen. And I just think that open-mindedness and receptiveness to ideas, and truly the buy-in of the individuals in his department that are willing to go above and beyond and do what they think is in the best interest of the students we all serve, I think is just a huge, the largest reason why our buildings are as beautiful as they are, and our facilities are as beautiful as they are, and our grounds are the way they are. It's just a testament to the work of the individuals that are here in our school district. So again, a huge thank you to them, and obviously the leadership they get from Dave.
And not for nothing, we're in a building that's amazing, but what's also amazing is every single light works. You know, and when I go to other performing arts centers and other school districts, and here, before we did the transformation, you could never say every single light works. I'm looking right now, every single light that's on works. There's not a dark spot. I mean, and that's just part of the I know it's part of the EPC, turning everything over to LED and similar things. But that alone says the level of pride that we have in our facilities. Because it's easy to I'll let that light go, let that light go, let that light go, and then eventually you have to make a big deal and put lights on. It's a small thing, but it's really not as small.
Thank you very much.